David.
Ah, no.
Aló, dime.
No, no, era para que me pusieras de coanfitrión en
Ah,
bajo, abajo.
ok, ya te pongo. Ya vengo, un segundo, ¿eh? En la transmisión de anoche fue solo en español, ¿verdad? Sí. Nasia is not here. You will have to wait. She's coming soon. Okay? Okay? When she arrives, I will ask her to call you so you can talk. Okay?
Tá, ok. Vê se vibrou. Ok.
Let me see when she's coming back. She needed to go to do something. So.
Siempre me preguntan, Pedro, ¿cómo hago para...?
Hola, llegaron. There is microphone is open already for the lady.
Здравствуйте, можно задавать вопрос?
У меня сегодня была такая ситуация. Я подключилась к групповой медитации. И ведущая спросила, подождем еще 5 минут остальных. И у меня вырвалось, ну 5 минут много, давайте 2 минуты подождем.
Charge asked, let's wait for the others for 5 minutes, and I said 5 minutes is too much. Let's wait for 2 minutes.
А потом я задумалась,
And then I thought,
что это вообще было, кто это говорил. Ведь я могла подумать, что люди ну, хотят еще подключиться, надо подождать. И вот очень часто я замечаю, что спонтанно что-то говорю, и это и есть жизнь, или это что-то другое? Это и есть сознание? Или сознание, наоборот, должно подумать, что надо подождать людей, они спешат, с любовью об этом думать?
вопрос в чем? Это сознание? Сознание это что или что?
Да, это вот это что выскочило? Давайте 2 минуты подождем. То есть я вообще об этом не думала, но оно само выскочило из меня. Это вообще что? Это тело, это ум, это что это говорит?
Эго.
Это было эго?
Федор сказал эго.
Эго. А как вообще отличить жизнь, поток? Вот она жизнь через меня проходит, или это эго? Как это вообще понять? Ведь там не было никакого чувства, что мы будем долго ждать. То есть там не было такого.
Because the question will not arise.
Если бы это было то, что вы говорите, то вопрос не возник.
Я поняла. Потому что действительно больше никто не подключился.
With nobody else even joined.
Наша медитация.
Hmm? Yeah,
То
but
есть
what are we talking about?
О чем мы говорим?
о чем мы говорим?
Да, о чем речь?
What's your point?
Что вы хотите?
Речь я хотела бы понять, когда во мне протекает жизнь, тогда вопросов не возникает. И если возникают какие-то вопросы после того, как я что-то произношу, то это эго. Или
It is
я-
life coming through me and I say something and there are no questions. But
There
if
is-
there are
There is no me through which life goes through.
нет никакого я, через которое протекает жизнь.
There is only life.
Есть просто жизнь.
Life doesn't need an instrument to
Не
be
нужен
life.
инструмент никакой для того, чтобы быть жизнью.
There is no life and me.
Нету жизни и меня.
There is only life.
Есть только жизнь.
если это эго, я как-то могу этим эго управлять.
If it is ego, can I control it?
Who is going to control the ego? The ego is going to control the ego.
Кто будет контролировать эго? Само эго.
See what the ego is.
Смотрите, что такое есть это эго.
Look for the ego.
Ищите его.
Look for the me. Who is this me? Who is this
Ищите это
I?
я. Что это за я такой?
If you do so, it disappears.
Если вы сделаете это, то оно исчезает.
Sinks, dissolves, disappears, keeps quiet in consciousness.
Оно затихает в сознании.
У меня вчера получилось затихнуть. Мне не хотелось вообще ничего говорить. Вот после того, как мы с вами пообщались, как раз такая тишина наступила у меня глубокая.
Yesterday, I know
Вот.
what the quietness was so profound. I didn't want to say anything.
Yes, but the ego is not fully there and it jumps back.
Да,
Again.
но эго не мертвое, оно возвращается.
Возвращается, да. Я это чувствую.
I can feel it.
You are right. Everything come back.
When it comes back, when the ego comes back, see from where the ego comes back,
Когда эго возвращается, смотрите, откуда оно возвращается.
or see what is this ego that came back.
Или смотрите, чем оно является, что это такое за эго вот это, которое вернулось.
Но это же и есть персоналити, личность. Эго, личность это же одно и то же.
Не говорим персонально.
In Russian, yes, right? I am the body, that's all.
Вот.
The person, what I call
The
person.
thing is that person and personality in English is two different words with two
Yes.
different meanings.
Well,
But in Russian there is just
In
one
English, I
word.
mean the person. Ego is a person, not a personality.
Эго — это личность, а не, не какие-то личностные качества, характеристики. То есть
The,
как
pers-
персона.
the personality is belongs to the person, characteristic, qualities, attributes, and so on.
И все эти качества и характеристики принадлежат персоне, личности.
В том числе и эго. Эго это тоже личностные характеристики.
Ego is one of the characteristics.
The ego is the one that thinks I am a person, means I am the body.
Эго — это тот, кто думает, что я есть личность, я — это тело.
М. Да, я поняла. Спасибо большое.
Mm.
Thank you
That-
very much.
that
This
doesn't-
is question closed.
Good.
Thank you very much.
If the ego doesn't think I am the body,
Если эго не думает, я есть тело,
then gets dissolved, merges in its source, which is
Когда
consciousness,
он растворяется в своем источнике, то есть в сознании,
and remain as consciousness.
и остается в сознании.
Просто наблюдать.
Just to witness it.
Hmm?
Just to
No,
witness.
no. Not to witness it.
Не наблюдать.
See what the ego is when it
Смотрите,
arises.
что такое есть это эго, чем оно является, когда оно возникает.
So see who is this I that arose as a person,
Смотрите, что это за я такое, которое возникает как личность, как персона.
or see from where this I that arose as a person
И
emerged
откуда оно
from.
возникает.
Сколько я понимаю, все возникает из источника. Просто смотреть в этот источник. Смотрите,
So I have to look at the source.
Yes.
Да.
Clear?
Стало понятней?
да.
No.
Thank you.
Good.
Hello again.
Hi, Victoria. How are you?
I'll speak English. I don't know whether you want for what we talk be translated in Russian or no?
The
Okay.
question, the answer is in Russian. If the question is in English, the answer is in English. If the question is in Spanish, the answer is in Spanish.
Okay, thank you. So I have a question about awareness. When you say who we are pure awareness. But then I heard you saying that awareness is not aware of anything, and that who's aware of everything? Is it the I, the consciousness? Or could you just talk about it? Thank you.
The meaning of awareness is not aware of anything, means that it's not aware of anything that is separate, different from itself. Hmm? The mind that says that it's aware, see, this false awareness, right? Individual awareness, as you like to call it, is aware of something separate from itself, different from itself, right? Mind is I aware of something, right? The self is awareness of nothing but itself. Imagine that the ocean says that it is aware of the wave. It can't be, right? Because the ocean is the wave, right? So
Okay.
the entire manifestation, what is called collectively an illusion, right? Which is perceptions, body, the sense organs, thoughts, intellect, all that collectively is an illusion. It's called illusion, right? Or call it manifestation or world or form or creation, whatever, right? If you conceive that as separate from awareness or consciousness, then you call it whatever you like. Mind, ego, person, world, X. But if you don't see the illusion as separate from awareness or consciousness, then it is awareness or consciousness. Make sense?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
I
Thank
am,
you.
it's like I say, I am aware of the hand. I am not aware of the hand. There is no one thing here, aware of the other thing there. See, I am aware of myself, right?
Okay.
In this case, let's say subject and object are one and the same, not two separate entities, right? Of course, it is awareness that knows everything, including the ego, But from the awareness or consciousness point of view, whatever awareness or consciousness is aware of, conscious of, is a manifestation of itself, therefore it is itself, right?
Mm.
It's a manifestation of the body. Let's put it, see, the body manifested the hair, right? But the head is not separate from the body, therefore it is the body.
Okay.
That's
And
of non-duality or Advaita. There is nothing, there is no second entity that exists separately, independently from its source. That second entity is the manifestation in its totality. The world, the body, the mind, energy, right?
so yesterday when I said about the sometimes, not sometimes, but daily I sit down and do self-inquiry, and you said also when you read, you know, like Ramana Maharshi or similar, that they talk about this method. What do you recommend as like trying to tap myself, or you know, to know who I am and realize myself as like a daily
For the
mind?
dissolution of the ego, only the inquiry. For mind control, you can do anything else. That it may help for some time, but it requires the presence of the ego to practice it. So if the ego is practicing, it cannot disappear because it is present practicing. If we want the ego to disappear, either we inquire about the nature or reality of the ego, or we inquire about the source of the ego, from where this ego emerged, right? Or what is actually the ego. Because I believe to be the ego, for example, and if I want to know what the ego is, I have to look at myself. But when I look at myself as the ego, I as the ego disappear. And then what is left, right, is consciousness. And this consciousness is I am, is what I actually am. I am consciousness, but I appear to be the ego.
Thank you.
So it's the ego that creates this idea, I am the body. Right?
Yeah.
If the ego gives up that idea, then it merges in the self, right? And it merges means you can see the difference between the ego and the self. So there is no ego. Again, if you don't see it as separate from the self or consciousness, it is the self or consciousness, right? So the reality of the ego is consciousness. There is no ego and the self. That's another way to put it. See, they are not two. If the ego identifies itself with the body, then it appears to be not only separate from its source, but separate from everything else. See, I am here and you are there. The idea of duality appears. See, I am Caesar, I am the body. Now, apparently, this body is the subject and you are an object. Right? 1, 2, I and you. Then I am here and you are there. We are separated, right? We are two separate entities. And I am different. I am a man and you are a woman. And I am independent from you. See, I go my way, you go your way. And then I can go more crazy. I am better than you, or worse than you, or superior or inferior. See, the value system kicks in. See? So the mind collectively is all what I just mentioned. See, from I and you onwards, That is the mind as if it were a separate entity. When the ego or the mind, if you want to call it like that, let go the attachment to the body, the body identity, then it can't stand. And it sinks in its source, which is absolute silence. And remains reflecting consciousness, quiet, formless, because the mind is formless. It just takes the form of the body that itself manifests and identifies itself with. I am this body, I have this form, and I have these characteristics or qualities or attributes, right? Physical, and then psychological, etc., etc. All this is collectively nothing. It's just a bundle of thoughts. It has no reality whatsoever. This is why it is called an illusion, because it's a mental fabrication, it's a mental construct. So all that is made, the person is made out of thoughts.
So how do you make the ego disappear?
See from where it arises. Or see what the ego is. Who thinks I am the body? I, yes or no? Okay. If I want to know, I want to know who is this I. So the attention falls on the I itself. I am the subject, you are the object. So I have thoughts about you, or I have thoughts about myself. So I forget about the thoughts about you, I forget about the thoughts about myself, and I see the I that thinks whatever it is about you or about itself. The subject, right? You are the object, I am the subject. And then my attention goes back to the subject. When the attention goes back to the subject, thoughts about objects disappears. That means the object disappears. And then the subject without the object cannot survive. And then the subject disappears, means the idea of being the subject, the idea of being the body disappears. And then the mind merges in consciousness. When the mind merges in consciousness, the consciousness that the mind merges in reveals itself. And it becomes obvious, I am that consciousness.
So whenever thoughts arise, then it is the questioning who doesn't think those thoughts. I am I.
Yeah.
And it's like
Don't ask the question, who am I?
Oh.
The question, who am I, we spoke about it, I believe, yesterday, is the intellectual aspect of the inquiry, not the practical one. If I want to know who is that person, somebody says, I am in a restaurant, and somebody says to me, Cesar, you know who that person is? My attention goes to that person, right? Do you know what is that flying there? My attention goes to that flying object there. If I want to know who am I bring the attention back to myself. So it's not the question, who am I? It's to look or see what is this that arises as I, or that appears as I.
So is that a matter of attention then, wherever?
Correct. It's called self-awareness, self-attention, self-observation, self-inquiry, which people misunderstand it by observing these thoughts. No, it's the thinker, right? The thinker from where the thought arises.
So not to give attention to thoughts, like totally go.
Correct. Keep the thoughts for the practicality of daily matter. You don't have to worry about that. They will come spontaneously. Okay, and don't worry about what to do or not to do, because it is preordained, right? It's destined already. What is meant to happen is going to happen. What is not meant to happen is not going to happen. That was Ramana's first teaching, actually. And he said, therefore, the best course of action is to remain quiet, to keep quiet, mentally quiet. Right? So we let the body go through whatever the body has to go through, right? The thought process for the practicality, they will come nicely, right? In the meantime, see, right, whose body and whose mind is it? Right? Everybody says, my body, my mind, right? Who is saying so? I. So my whole interest is to keep the attention on this I. If the attention follows this I cannot survive the light of attention, right? Or the light of awareness, or whatever you like to call it, right? And it disappears. And you find that this I was always consciousness. It was never an ego, right? An analogy for that is nicely explained in Ramana's teachings, and this is a Vedic analogy. It's 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and you go to the kitchen, there is a rope on the floor. And it is dark, but it looks like as if it is a snake. And you get terrified, say, oh my God, there is a snake on the floor. Okay, I need to kill the snake. I need to get rid of the snake, right? But you said, I have to switch off on the light because if it moves, I want to know where it goes. So when you switch on the light, you get surprised, see, to the fact that there was never a snake there. It was always a rope. There was never an ego. There was only consciousness. I was never an ego. I has been consciousness all along.
I think I really get it now. So the more attention on I, then the I kind of gets weaker and disappears in the end. So it's just the more attention on it.
Yeah.
And so any kind of like meditations or sitting in silence,
No.
they're not even needed.
No.
It's more you practice as you go day.
This is called direct path. There is no other. This path doesn't need a backup practice, right? Or a support practice or anything. This is direct. This is called direct path, not because it is a path, not even because it is a practice. It's because it directly brings, see, the knowledge of what you truly are. Right? When I met what I would like to call my teacher, right? Mr. Ratan. Oh, sorry, I'm being corrected, my English. Sorry. So this man said to me, bring the attention from the seen to the seer. The seen will disappear. Then the seer will also disappear. And what remains is the act of seeing, experienced as simply being. Seeing means consciousness or awareness here. And being is consciousness or awareness, not two things. Means that what I am is that what remains when the seer disappears. That what remains there as what sees, right, is what I actually am. So that was basically what he said to me. It took me like 15, 20 minutes, maybe. I don't know how long, but it was a very short time. I sat down and I didn't ask any more questions. I was told that and I folded my hands and said, thank you. And then after some time, same day in the afternoon, I looked for a quiet place and begin to, I was pondering about what he said to me. Okay, that's the object and I am this object. That is the seen, I am the seer. Okay. I bring the attention back to the seer. Who is the seer? I. Okay. Attention falls back to I. And all thoughts about anything, you just gone. And then the thought I, the idea I am the body disappeared. And the fact of being consciousness just got revealed. Right?
Thank you.
Now, because of the tendencies that belongs to the ego and that are the ego itself might not be completely destroyed, the ego might come back again. It will come back again, most surely. No, nobody's like Ramana Maharshi that look within himself and what is it that arises in the body as I, let me have a look. And the ego disappeared and never came back. In most of the cases, it bounces back. Because there is an idea that is still I have something else to do in this life, right? I have a desire, a predisposition, a tendency, right? A thought, an idea, a concept. It may be selfish or unselfish, it doesn't matter. See, the tendencies can be pure, right? And that will bring the ego back. For example, these people that get trapped in the idea that they have to live monastic lives, live on celibacy, or be vegetarian forever. See, all the good habits, right? So they get trapped in that. I got trapped in that for a while, in this so-called spiritual ego. The other one is a material ego, but it is the same ego, right? I have to live in an ashram. I have to live in India. I don't have to marry. I don't have to work. I don't have to. I have to go out and beg and put the body in such uncomfortable situations. The body is not to blame, right?
So this, I guess, would explain. If I've got time, I don't know if any other people want to speak. Then
take your time. They will raise their hands if they're interested. Do you hear me?
Yeah. Well, so I'm just saying, do I have still time, or is there other people want to talk?
No, they already know how this works. If they want to talk, they will raise their hand.
Okay.
Why?
Because I can't.
No.
I can't if other people.
Take your time.
Okay. I just wanted to, then I guess it answers a little bit of, I had this little experience back in February when I wasn't really looking for self-realization at that time, although I heard the theories and searching for truth for the last 10 years. And it was revealed to me by just listening to one book that was about self-realization, and it was just a little bit shocking to me of what happened. But as you explained, that was the silence and a peace that I never felt before, and this word kept coming to me like I or home, like going home, and it just felt so home, so natural, this feeling. And then the next day, and hearing the birds and everything seemed like very intense. Like the senses were super intense, and then I realized that this is the truth, or before I didn't know was the truth, so I was easily kind of led to one or another thing, because I didn't know was the truth. And this seemed like I had the knowing that I now know that this is the path where I have to go. But then that wasn't the full awakening as such, or self-realization, but it was the glimpse of it, which so that is it does happen to people, isn't it? Because before I heard that there's either you are either seeker or you are awakened, that there isn't any in between.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
There is either ego or there is no ego. It's like either you're pregnant or you are not. You cannot be a little bit pregnant or less pregnant. You see, either you are or you are not.
So it seems that they disappeared for a little bit, but then obviously came back, and now I got a big job to, not big job, hopefully a little, try and get rid of it.
Yes, see. We as consciousness are already self-realized. So we cannot realize consciousness because we are the consciousness that we want to realize. Because we believe to be the ego, we want to realize consciousness. If I want to realize the truth, another name for consciousness is truth, or the true self, or the true I, right? So I believe I am the ego, then I want to realize the self, right? Now, this I cannot realize the self. This I will disappear in the self, either temporarily, like in your case, or permanently, that because of your intelligence and interest is strong, it most surely will happen, right? So you are not at home. So you are home, right? Because the ego is not fully destroyed, it appears that somebody had a glimpse of consciousness and he calls it home. If there is home and somebody's living at home, still we have two, right?
Mm.
The experience was real, right? But the experiencer is not real. These are moments of clarity, but not 100% clarity, right? Because in that moment, it's not 100% clear that I am what you call home, meaning by home, obviously consciousness, which is absolute silence. And that becomes obvious when the mind is totally quiet, completely quiet. It doesn't want anything, and it doesn't know anything. So when the mind let go any object, material or intellectual, in this case, knowledge, it doesn't want anything, and it doesn't know anything. And in that state, it has no choice but to sink back in consciousness. And when the mind is merged in consciousness, you can't see the difference between the two because they are not true, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, there is one more tip, okay, when you do the inquiry. Once the mind becomes quiet, leave it like that. I put it in this way. If I get distracted, then the so-called effort, practice, or intention to look back to the one that got distracted, the I, must be there, obviously, right? Once the attention falls on the I, it stays in the I without effort. No, you can't, there is no one there that can go deeper than that. It will sink by its own weight. If the mind is not swimming on the surface, if it is not moving, see, by itself, it will sink. It can't survive. It will sink in the ocean, right? Of its own reality. So when the mind is still, leave it. Don't touch it.
So when the full realization happens, and is there still a risk that the ego may come back after, I don't know, years, or that there isn't?
If there is full realization, then there is no way back.
Okay.
Let's put it in this way. Imagine that the ego is like a grain of salt, right? And another grain of salt begin to get attached to this single grain of salt. Now, from where the salt is coming from? From the sea, right? Now, the grain of salt means the I. And the other grain of salt are this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other, right? Now, if I bring the whole bowl of salt into the ocean, it begins to dissolve itself, right? So it's like all the salt from around begins to dissolve, but not from the inside, right? At some point, this bowl of salt may jump out of the water again, right? Because still there are the inner tendencies are the favorite ones, right? Very dear for the ego. They are the most deeply rooted, one can say. And then they get attached to the root single grain of salt, and that brings the ego back. And then I have to bring it back again into the sea. And all this begins to dissolve in consciousness. Right? Until the root grain of salt, means I am the body, right? Gets dissolved, then that's it. There is no way back. Now, did the salt disappear in the ocean? Or it got dissolved in the ocean?
Dissolved.
Then you can see the difference in that state or in that condition. You can see the difference between the salt and the ocean. In the same way, you won't be able to see the difference between the illusion in any form, physical, mental, energetic, or whatever, and consciousness. People believe that I am consciousness means I am not anything else, right? So for these people, when they say I am consciousness, they are excluding the illusion, right? And you can separate the illusion from consciousness because the illusion cannot exist separately, independently from consciousness. So consciousness doesn't have to free itself from the illusion, because for consciousness, the illusion is itself. Right? It is the mind that sees the world as something else, something external, outside of itself. See, I am this body, and the world is outside. See, my senses perceive something from outside. It believes that there is something outside, different, separate from itself, right? And it becomes the subject of experiences, and this is happening to me, and I am perceiving that. Now, in that moment of clarity that you had, that may last for some time, because everything is yourself. That's why the intensity of sensory perception appears as such. Because it is you. It's not you perceiving pleasure or pain. It's just a pleasure and pain are not separate from you, but you perceive through the senses. The mind is also very still. So there is an intensity of perception, right? Everything may shine even stronger, like everything is more bright, closer, right? Intimate, right? Actually, it is you. Whatever you see is nothing but yourself, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Many people come to these talks when we get together, if I can put it in that way, so it doesn't sound fancy on myself. Either the mind keeps quiet by itself, or it is easier to keep quiet for some reason, right? There is something that gets activated by itself. Cesar has no part to play in it, right? He cannot even call itself a tool or an instrument for that to happen. No, there's a power there. It is activated. And somehow, if the mind of the seeker is mature, means pure enough, then the mind keeps quiet by itself. That the seeker doesn't have even to inquire to make the mind quiet. It happens by itself. Right? Or it becomes easier to keep the mind quiet. If the mind is not pure, and then it will produce the opposite effect, which is a good effect also. The subconsciousness will bubble up, it will surface, and the inquiry will help to dissolve all that stuff. So the talk helps them to release the subconsciousness and help them to get rid of it by the inquiry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have to go now. My daughter is crying already for me. Thank you.
Okay. Good. Very rare.
Hello. Hear me nice? I don't hear you, actually. I can read the lips.
Now I can. Now you can.
Cesar, is it possible that mind is blocking the search?
The mind what?
Blocking the search.
Blocking.
Yeah,
Yes. Blocking. The mind
yes.
is either blocking or unblocking. It's like a key.
So,
If
you
you
know what?
if you turn the key to the right, it locks you in. If you turn it to the left, it set you free. To the right means when the mind is looking outside. To the left is when it is looking inside. So it is blocking when it is looking outside or when it's thinking about something different than itself. When it believes that there is something different, separate, apart from itself.
Oh, I see. But my point is, like before I was making inquiry and I was, for example, I see the mind, I see the thoughts, and I'm like, who is thinking it? Who is like asking? And I'm trying to see at myself who I am actually are. And these days, it's I just lost, and I'm not noticing what's going on. It seems like I lost interest to everything, even to these enlightenment things. Like nothing. I'm like living automatically, and I not noticing wherever I think about something or not. Before I was keeping noticing the thoughts, and now I don't know if I'm even noticing it. It's just being, but it's not the realization, because I would know it for sure if it happens, and I just don't know what's going on, because before I was let's say keep focusing or something like this, and now I cannot keep focusing. I don't know why.
You must be quite distracted with the world and thoughts.
Probably.
The thought must be happening at a tremendous speed.
What should I do? I should have like put a cross on my forehead to
Not
keep.
only speed or quantity, not only and quality. See? The good news is that it doesn't matter. And it is meant to happen, right? Because whatever was hidden within you obviously came up, surfaced, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't matter. There must be an experiencer of all that, a seer, right? Or a substratum. The problem is that you get so entangled with these thoughts that you don't bring the attention back to yourself, which is the most obvious thing that it is there, and the basic thing that is there, because without you, none of it can be. So,
Probably the distraction is so strong that I don't even understand that I'm this much distracting.
it doesn't matter. If you get distracted, it doesn't matter. If you get distracted, it means if you notice that you get distracted, you are no longer distracted. Because you know yourself as the I that got distracted, and realizing that it is distracted, is no longer distracted, and is again self-aware. It's not only aware of the distraction, but it is also aware of itself. As this I remains aware of itself, that will do. And then all what arises, right? All these bubbles will pop in the ocean of consciousness and disappear.
But what should I do with distraction if I don't even notice the distraction? I'm so in this.
Distraction doesn't mean the thoughts are there and sensory perception is there. Distracted is let go the attention, see, on oneself. That's all. If there are thoughts, there are thoughts. If there is physical sensation, fine. If there is body activity, fine. Because you can inquire and function properly at the office, for example, right? Or you can even read a book, or watch a TV program, or listen to some music, or go for a walk, and yet to remain self-aware. What is important is a continuity of self-awareness, not the quantity or the quality of thoughts, physical activity, yours or someone else's. Ramana Maharshi said so very clear. What if the mind doesn't stop? Because sometimes it doesn't, because the rajasic tendencies, the active mind just can't help it, right? And this characteristic of the mind kicks in, gets activated, begins to operate. He said it doesn't matter. It must be happening on a substratum, right? On a background, like a movie is happening on the screen. The screen is the background. And I say, okay, then let's look at the substratum, which is no other than oneself, and forget about the projection, see, the illusion, the thoughts, or whatever it is happening.
Now it seems like double sleep, sleeping in dream, you know.
Double,
It's more difficult to be focused on myself, on oneself. I don't know why. Because maybe mind is fighting, doesn't want to die.
if you pay attention to what you say, you will laugh at yourself. Because right here, right now, for you to say so, you must be, and you must know that you are. You already are self-aware as consciousness. You as consciousness are always self-aware. It's the mind that doesn't allow that to become a fact, to become clear.
Yeah, for sure.
I can see myself, and yet you are, and yet you know that you are. It's just a use, right? Get fast. See, the mind throws all these fireworks, right? And boom, and then we are so fascinated. I cannot see myself. See, and you yourself are there, knowing that you are, right? And seeing all that. That's all. I don't know who am I. What do you mean by you don't know? Who is the I that is now there, right? Knowing that it must know that it is. Just paying attention too much to what happened. See, apparently outside of the senses and here on the attic, see, on the roof.
Yeah. The roof is leaking.
No, forget about all that now.
Yeah.
And
Seems like forget about everything, even about the lightning and the stuff.
no, I mean now. Now means now.
No, you're right. Yes.
Now, see, I don't know. I can see myself and you are there. Now you know I am, right?
Yeah.
Okay, try even now. Don't forget about knowing yourself because you yourself are there. Just be yourself, right? Actually, to know oneself as the self is to be the self. You're already that. And that self already is self-aware. See? This is what is called being consciousness. See? That being is conscious because it is. So because it is conscious, and it is conscious because it is. Therefore, being consciousness are synonymous. It's synonymous. It means both of them means I. Because the one that knows that exists and is conscious that exists, and because that exists is conscious is I. So you don't have to do anything to be what you are. That was the title of the first book that I read from Ramana Maharshi. Be as you are. He didn't say do this, that, or the other. And be as you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sometimes it's funny. See, for me, it's funny. People may take it in a wrong way, like I am mocking or humiliating, but no, it's funny. I can't see myself. I can't pay attention to myself. And I said, what are you talking about? Right? Now you are, and you must know now that you are.
It's tricky because in one hand I know I am, and the other hand I know that the one who is talking is the mind, because I only know myself self as the mind.
Even if you say, I don't know that I am, you must know that you are in order to say, I don't know that I am. So I don't know that I am is the thought, right? Even if you say, I know that I am is a thought. To say, I know that I am, or I don't know that I am, you must be. So you already are, you always are.
Thank you.
Welcome. Good. Great. So who is coming next?
Ruslan wanted that.
Okay. I think he'll need translation.
Цезарь, здравствуйте.
We need translation, right?
Да.
Hold on a second. Ah, there you are.
Talking, Ruslan.
Сейчас подойди.
Mhm.
Переводчик.
Тут рядом с тобой сидит переводчик.
Подожди, не мешай, дай мне сделать вопрос. Я тебя не звал. Хотел за подругу узнать, как у тебя слушать.
He's coming.
Ты можешь на какое-то время уйти, просто вопрос личный? Тебя пока нет.
Я здесь,
Нет, тебя это не касается.
Okay, Nas is here. Nas, yes, right?
Можно задавать вопрос.
Спасибо. Здравствуй, Цезарь, здравствуй, Настя.
Здравствуйте.
У меня такой вопрос. У меня самостоятельно не получается быть в «я есть». Единственное, что у меня сейчас получается, вот когда я смотрю сатсанги периодически, воспринимать, ну, как я понимаю, чувствую, воспринимать энергию, которую транслирует Цезарь. И, в общем-то, это мне дает силу, скажем так, радоваться жизни, что ли. Ну, как-то он излучает такую классную силу, здоровскую, что вот это единственное, что у меня получается. Это нормально или не очень?
Work cannot remain in my I am. The only thing that I can manage, the only thing that I succeed in doing is perceive this energy that Caesar is emanating, and that helps me go through my day. Is that okay or not?
See, for you, perceive whatever it is, the energy that you call, right? You must be.
Для того, чтобы вы могли воспринимать энергию там или что-то, вы должны быть.
And you must know that you are.
Вы должны знать, что вы есть.
Да.
So, what is closer to you? See, the energy that you feel or your own self, as I am.
Что что ближе к вам? Та энергия, которую вы чувствуете, или само я есть?
Наверное, я есть. Оно всегда есть.
Exactly. So how difficult can it be
Насколько сложно может быть
to know I am?
знать я есть?
Там периодически я понимаю, у меня бывают такие, скажем так, проблески или, не знаю, понимание, что вообще никаких усилий не нужно. Я есть, оно всегда есть.
Sometimes I can see that no effort is needed, that I am is always there.
I am is always there
Оно всегда есть,
and is always effortless.
оно всегда безусильно.
And what I am is consciousness, not the mind.
Вот я есть, я подразумеваю сознание, не ум.
Да.
The thing that you want to get rid of something, right?
Вы хотите от чего-то избавиться,
To know I am.
чтобы узнать я есть, познать я есть.
But to get rid of something, you must be and you must know that you are.
Но для того, чтобы избавиться от чего-то, вы должны быть, и вы должны знать, что вы есть.
Да, это первично, конечно.
Правильно.
Exactly.
Ну да. Нечего хотеть, можно сказать.
But we forget this, that's all.
Мы забываем об этом.
We forget what I am actually means or is.
Мы забываем о том, что такое я есть, или что оно значит.
Да. Я вот слушал Руперта Спайра, он мне как-то помог тут осознать этот момент. И вас слушаю тоже.
I listen to Rupert Spire and help me to
If you understand deeply
Сейчас
this,
я спрошу, Лич. Да-да.
if you deeply understand this, everything becomes more easy.
Вы понимаете это, то все становится проще.
What
Да.
can be easier than to be?
Это может быть проще, чем просто быть.
In fact, to be is not even easy.
На самом деле быть это даже не просто.
To be is just to be.
Быть это просто быть.
Easy or difficult maybe to do something or to stop doing something.
Сложно.
Сейчас я закончу, я спрошу какие. Ага. Цезарь, извините, а можно еще вам другой человек задаст вопрос?
Can another person ask a question?
Yes, busy or something.
Вы заняты или что?
Нет, девушка хочет задать вопрос. Я вас понял, Цезарь.
Hello, everyone.
Может, по-русски говорить.
I want to talk in English because I know English. Hello, everyone.
Yes.
I'm fluent of Ruslan. It doesn't depend. How to say? If I want to know being in Paris, know in Russia, know if with these people around me, know with this in this place. Why I'm there? Why I can't be there? I want to be. Что мне нужно сделать, чтобы это осознать, чтобы не страдать и в Париже, если я там окажусь, и не страдать здесь, если рядом я не с теми, кто и не там, где мне нравится.
Oh, Naskia went away. Do you need translation or not? Because I'm confused. Let me
Yes, I want to translate.
yes. Yeah, you can speak in Russian now.
По-русски. Если я хочу находиться в Париже, но сейчас я нахожусь в России с определенными людьми, в определенном месте, где я не хочу находиться, но все мое существо знает, что мне нужно находиться там. Это осознанность прошлых жизней, это осознанность о сущностях, это осознанность моей души о том, что я понимаю, что мне нужно находиться там, и я там буду более эффективной. Или это, моя суть подсказывает, что это правда, что мне нужно находиться там. Но люди во мне говорят, ты... Да.
Нас переведите.
I want to be in Paris, but I'm in Russia with the people in the place where I don't want to be, and with people I don't want to be. But my inner self is telling me that I have to be in Paris. Is it a connection from the previous life, a connection from with the entities? Something like that.
If you're meant to be elsewhere, why you are not elsewhere?
Если вы должны быть где-то, то почему вы не там?
I also would like to be elsewhere.
Я бы тоже, может быть, хотел бы где-то быть еще.
Right? And I
Может
cannot
быть, в Сирии.
even leave the country. Right? Try.
Ну, пробуйте.
Whatever you want, try.
Чего вам там хочется, пробуйте.
Don't get attached to any result.
Не привязывайтесь к каким-то результатам.
Thank you, Guru.
If you are meant to be somewhere, you will be somewhere.
Если вам суждено быть где-то, то вы будете там.
And if you are not to be elsewhere, you will not be elsewhere but what you are.
Если нет, то нет.
Но что, если среда может останавливать от моей осознанности? И я могу больше поддаваться среде, но не тому, что моя душа истинно хочет.
What if the environment is like an obstacle to my awareness?
No, it is not.
Нет, это не так.
It doesn't matter how the environment may be.
Неважно, какая среда вокруг вас.
That environment needs I,
Среда нуждается в «я».
needs me to know it,
Среда нуждается в «я», которое осознает ее.
to be aware of it. And that already, which
Yeah.
is aware of it.
Я уже являюсь тем, что осознает.
What I mean by I
Под
mean
я имею в виду
consciousness or awareness,
сознание
right?
или осознанность.
And you are already that.
Вы уже являетесь этим.
So you don't depend upon the environment.
Вы не зависите от окружающей
The
среды.
environment depends on you.
Окружающая среда зависит от вас.
You believe to be something else, the
Вы
ego,
считаете себя эго.
right? And then you perceive the environment as separate from you.
Вы воспринимаете среду отдельно от себя.
I'm not saying that it's not unpleasant. It might be. I don't know. I don't want to go into details, right?
Я не говорю, что вам не неприятно. Вам, возможно, действительно неприятно, но я не хочу вдаваться в детали.
But the environment has the influence that I believe it has.
Но среда оказывает на меня такое влияние, какое я
Я верю.
показывать.
Right?
И получается, что если я верю в то, что среда оказывает на меня, она меня останавливает всегда от моей мечты, значит, я буду это создавать. Am I right? Я права? Ну, то есть, исходя из моих верований, среда играет ту роль, которую я верю, какую роль играет среда.
Я ничего не поняла. Можно еще раз, пожалуйста?
Мозг покинул чат. О май гад.
Перефразирую как.
Если я чувствую, что, возможно, может быть, мне следует изменить мою веру в то, что среда влияет на мои желания негативно, то есть она как будто бы мое убеждение, установка, что моя среда останавливает меня от моей мечты, и если я в это верю, значит, она действительно меня останавливает от этой мечты. Значит, мне требуется работать с убеждением, установкой, верованием, которое
Reaching out to my dream, then I have to work on this idea.
I don't know. See, if you want to reach your dreams, I can't help you.
Если вы хотите достичь своей мечты, я вам ничем не могу помочь.
If you want to get rid of the dreamer, I
Если
can
вы
help you.
хотите избавиться от того, кто мечтает, то я могу вам помочь.
The dreamer is part of the dream.
Мечтающий является частью мечты.
And you believe that the dreamer is real and that the
Вы
dreamer is
считаете,
you.
что он реален, что он — это вы.
That the dreamer is the mind.
Мечтающий — это ум.
And the dream is the mind. The dreamer and the dream is the
И
mind,
мечта,
are the
и
mind.
мечтающий — это ум.
If you want to become aware of what is your reality, we can talk.
Если вы хотите узнать, какова ваша реальность, то мы можем поговорить с вами.
If you want me to teach you how to fulfill your dreams, I can help you.
Если вы хотите, чтобы я вам рассказал, как мечты свои сбывать, я вам не могу ничем помочь.
I don't speak about that here.
Я об этом не говорю.
If you want something, try.
Если вы чего-то хотите, попробуйте это получить.
You may succeed, you may not.
У вас может получиться, может нет.
Be happy either way.
Оставайтесь счастливы в обоих случаях.
Спасибо. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Пожалуйста.
Спасибо, Цезарь.
You're welcome.
Спасибо. Спасибо.
Ok, quedan 7 minutos. ¿Alguna pregunta? Pues me tengo que ir súper a tiempo. ¿Lo subió? Sí. Ya tienes el micrófono abierto.
Да, микрофон включен.
Yeah, it's open. Yeah.
Здравствуйте.
Oh, you need translation, right? Hold on. Oh,
What do you want me to say?
somebody wants to ask a question in Russian, but we are short of time, so let's see.
Извините, но у нас осталось только 5 минут, и Цезарь говорит, что ему нужно сегодня закончить вовремя, и спрашивает у вас, насколько длинный вопрос, и если можно на него ответить коротко, то давайте сейчас, а если нет, то в следующий раз.
What is the question?
Какой у вас вопрос?
Ну, у меня простой вопрос. Я просто много лет уже пытаюсь тоже вот найти себя. И если так просто можно найти себя, задав вопрос, кто я, то вот я хочу попробовать. Но пока не получается.
have been looking for myself for so long, and if it is so easy to find yourself just by asking who I am, I want to try, but so far I haven't succeeded.
Do you mind to participate tomorrow and raise the question earlier?
Вы можете прийти снова завтра и задать вопрос в начале встречи,
And I can elaborate.
чтобы я мог ответить подробно.
Хорошо.
Can you,
Хорошо.
to whom am I talking? Can you put your camera? I don't know.
Вы можете включить камеру, а то мне непонятно, с кем я
I
разговариваю.
don't know if you spoke before
Я не
because
знаю, общались ли мы раньше.
the name is
Не получается включить пока. Я попробую настроить завтра. Заранее.
okay. Okay. Then we can talk tomorrow, okay?
Тогда поговорим завтра.
Да,
Just raise your hand at the beginning of the talk.
Поднимите руку в начале встречи.
хорошо.
Good.
Спасибо.
Yes. Ok, nos vemos entonces a la noche, ¿ok? Bueno.